What's up, everybody? Time for another Accountability Success Circle Quickie. Yes, and this week we're talking about resistance, not resilience. We will help you be resilient, but first we got to tackle that resistance. So let us know in the comments whether you're watching live or the replay, and we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, and go!
I love that.
Yes.
Love music.
Right?
It's like, let's do this.
Rock out.
Yeah. Hey,
Hi,
everyone.
April.
It's Wednesday. It's our hump day. And what a better way to get over the hump of the week by doing a quickie.
Afternoon delight.
I know. And in the Accountability Success Circle this month, we are focusing on the theme of fitness. And so a lot of the content that we've been creating has had a fitness theme to it, but not just, mental, physical fitness, but mental fitness and all that as well. So Gary and I had a long conversation about resistance and what was coming up. I was thinking about it from the lens of like what's happening as I start training for half marathon number 2. Hey, Steven. Hello. And, we were just talking about how sometimes we're met with resistance, and resistance can be a good thing. Resistance can be a bad thing, but there are different ways that you can look at it. And we want to empower you to be at choice when resistance comes your way. And so we've got 3 different perspectives to look, leverage resistance and look at resistance. And we're just going to show you how to choose which one of those paths is right for you, depending on the situation, right?
Yes. All right, let's jump into it. Since it is a quickie, we want to get you back to your day. So this first one is, you're met with resistance, and it's more of a negative look at resistance. And we're calling this one a way to fight insanity. And it's more specifically with this way of looking at resistance, this is like you're just tolerating it. You're the type that's like, well, it's just how it is. I'm just going to be bitter just to be bitter. A lot of times we see people dealing with this type of resistance in hustle culture, where you hear terms like, I will sleep when I'm dead. And you're just essentially, punching at it. And the resistance is there. You're not getting into that state of flow, but you just think that's just how it is.
Yeah. And what comes up and this is funny because we talked about this, these different ways last week. And, so truth be told, I spent a weekend having a really great time with some girlfriends in Vegas. I had so much fun, and I also had no sleep. I came back with a cold. I felt literally like a truck ran over me. And I wanted to come home with this mindset of, well, I had my party. That was my vacation. So I'm going to come back and just get back into all of my routines and all of that. And I felt so sick. And I was literally just trying to get through the day as if I didn't have a random, crazy weekend that is not the type of weekend that I normally had. So I chose when I got home to fight insanity by just continuing to push through when the bed was calling me. So I think that the problem here is that these types of situations can set you back even further. And you think that you're trying to push through, but you're actually creating even more resistance for yourself. And so this is, sometimes maybe that needs to be done. Maybe, I think about people who are becoming new parents, and you are immersed in this, you have a child and you are so tired, but you can't, because there's a human being that you have to take care of, and you kind of have to push through that resistance. But there's also when you're doing it, when you also have a choice to do something else. And so let's talk about one of those other options that we can look at.
Yes. Yeah, and so this is another way of looking at resistance. So, just to recap, the first one, to some people, it just may be like your only hope. And I see you. I hear you. Sometimes it is challenging. All we're saying is it's not sustainable in the long run because, this leads to burnout. And so another thing where you may be met with resistance, say you're doing something and you're like, oh man, should I keep doing this? This doesn't feel like fun as it used to. And the second way of looking at this resistance is a potential clash with your values.
Mm.
And again, our emotions are there for a reason. They're almost like those gauges when you have your car, that check engine light, the gas gauge, all those things. And the resistance is not necessarily a bad thing; it's how we interpret it. And so when you're met with resistance, like you're going to that work, and maybe you've been working there for 10 plus years, and in the beginning, it felt fun, it felt like play, you were really feeling like you were making a difference and things like that, and maybe now it's like such a struggle to get up and you're like, oh my god, hump day, oh, is it Friday yet? And this is one of the things where if you were being honest with yourself, maybe is a time to sort of assess and realize, maybe this is not the right place for you to be. And at one point it was. Now, but this is where your values may be trying to tell you something that there's a lack of alignment.
Yeah. And I think, this is where you ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Or, is this serving me right now? And if it's not, then it's an opportunity to, let the resistance be a guide and help, steer you in the direction that you want to go. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, hey, I'm giving up on this thing because I'm not good enough. Or, it could literally be, it's just not the right thing for you at the current time. And so really trying to make sure that you are aligned with what you want to do so that you can be at choice. You can look at that resistance as something telling me that something is a little bit off, and then maybe it's time to reconsider a change or a slight shift. Doesn't need to be a complete 180. It can be just a 1 degree shift, but it can be an opportunity to embrace the resistance and make a new decision that is of your choosing. So that's another way.
Yep.
And
So
shall we
if the
go on to the third?
yeah, so if the first one was, if I can give it like a metaphor, it's like boxing. Boom, you punch, psh, it's a punch right back in the face. Like you're going against Iron Mike Tyson. Punch, he punches, you punches him, he punches you, and you can only do that for so much. Number two, I look at it more like jujitsu, where you feel it and then you move it out of the way, and then you sort of just, all right, maybe I should do something else. And then number three is looking at it as an opportunity to level up.
I thought you were going to go like a pew, 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 pew.
I was trying to, but it was not.
Or it was going to be the
There we go.
nice.
Anyway, as an opportunity to level up. And what I mean by that is, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable right now. And you have this homeostasis, the way of being that's not used to it. But this is the thing, the way to grow is to put yourself into uncomfortable situations. It's just that, you can't stay there. And so that's why we say, all right, it's how we look at it. Are we growing? And if so, all right, this is in those situations. I don't know if anyone was ever in track. I did track when I was in high school. And as a way to help us get stronger, they would put these, like parachutes on our back. And then they'll have us run. And it will be so hard to run because we have this wind resistance that is pulling us. But we see this as a way of getting stronger. And so with every step that we take with that resistance, it is growing our muscles because we're looking at it from the right perspective. We see the potential that we are stepping into. And we know that it's a short-term thing. And then when they take that parachute off, because we've leveled up, we've grown, we are a lot faster. We are able to get into that state of flow. What do you got, April?
Yeah, I mean, and I think too, because I've been running so much and thinking about how, I just did a half marathon that I did in January. I kind of took some time off, still running, but trying to keep it easy. And now I'm seeing my mileage start to climb again, right? You don't necessarily, even though I've done it before, I'm being re-met with this resistance all over again because it's not what I'm used to, but I have to level myself up. But the fact that I chose to run a half marathon once already, I kind of already know what I'm going to be met with. So I'm already thinking about, okay, the 10-mile run is rough, and then the 12-mile run might feel good. So I'm equipped with new information. And so whereas before I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Or how is this going to work? And so now I have a little bit more, mental toughness to know, hey, I made it all the way there. So when I'm struggling with 6 miles or I'm struggling with 7 miles, it's going to be okay. I might have to, if I were to decide somewhere down the road that I was going to run a marathon, that's going to be this resistance of, oh my gosh, like I'm going to have to run double what I have run in the past, which was already hard. How am I going to do that? But the leveling up comes with the fact that I will have run a marathon instead of just a half. And you have to want that, right? Like you have to really want what that leveling up is. And just because you choose not to doesn't mean that, it's not wrong. It could be the potential clash with their values, right? So you need to think about which of these 3 perspectives you're going in to look at these resistances before you make that choice. And if you can look at them from those 3 different angles and choose which direction you want to go, I think that you'll be working against the right resistance rather than just working through resistance for the sake of making life harder for yourself because that feels like you're making progress. So that's our tip for today. And Gary, you have anything else to add before I take it home?
Yeah, before you wrap it up, is if you feel like you are in that growth mode, a great sort of mantra that I got from Jane McGonigal in her book Super Better is to say to yourself, I have a challenge mindset and I get fired up when I think about tackling the obstacles in my life. Because since I talk about play, I like to use this analogy a lot. When you're playing a game, regardless of the type of game, if you don't have challenges, it's boring and you stop playing. But the challenges that you see in those games, like you go in with a positive outlook of like, you know what, I have the potential to overcome this. Yes, this is something that I'm looking forward to tackling. And imagine if you can take that mindset and bloop 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 and put it into your day to day. Now, again, if you see your work as play, as in the work that you're doing, you're solving problems, and you're something that you're looking forward to sort of tackling, and you see the potential outcome of that work. Wow, this is helping people. This is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be saving lives and stuff like that, but you can see the tangible outcome of the work that you're doing and the potential for yourself to grow. That is going to trigger your intrinsic motivation to help you power through. And so that's one way of looking at it. But the main thing that we're trying to get here is that resistance can be seen as 3 different ways, and you actually have a choice. Now, what you do with that choice is up to you. And that's it. So yeah, bring it home, April. Let them know where they can find us. And
if this tip was
jazz.
helpful and you're just curious about why we're here in the first place, we are 2 of the leaders in the Accountability Success Circle. We offer tips to people to help up-level their lives, live their best, happiest, fulfilling life, but also get stuff done. So if you're looking for an outlet or a community that can support you in what you're doing and just have, a global team of people rooting for you to do what it is that you are destined to do in this life, come check us out, accountabilitysuccesscircle.com. We will be back again in the next couple of weeks with another quickie to share some awesome goodness, and we'll see you then. So, bye.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Be well.